Welcome everybody to a very quick Game Wisdom Live for the week of June 10th, 2018. As everybody knows, at this moment we are in peak E3. Exactly, Alberto. Quick show, quick talk, and then we'll get to some conferences. So, in terms of updates that's been happening this week, I believe we officially hit over 3,100 subscribers on the YouTube channel. So thank you everybody for subscribing. We've had quite an interesting week of discussions with, of course, Valve going back on their policy of any form of censorship. And of course, as I am streaming this right now, we had our first big E3 conference yesterday of EA, as Alberto is pointing out right there. And it did not turn out so well. One second, I'm just going to adjust this down a little bit. There we go. With, of course, the one that hurt a lot of us being the mobile Command & Conquer game, which I had a chance to play last night. And it's very much still a Clash of Clans clone, with the whole idea of getting loot boxes to get cards to then upgrade your troops. And yeah, that's about it. And a lot of people who were defending the game earlier in the day kind of seem even more foolish now. Unfortunately, Rob couldn't make it this week. He's not feeling too well, so it is going to be just me, but I think that's okay for it being a quick show. Other than that, the book, we are, I guess, down to the wire in terms of getting the book finished. As of my deadline is going to be, well, this Friday. So at this point, I've sent all the emails, and the people who haven't gone back to me, I'm just going to have to move forward and hope that nobody notices the images that I'm going to be using. So that should be very fun. But with the book wrapping up this week, I'm going to have to turn my attention next, I think, to learning Adobe Premiere, and I still need some ideas for Patreon events. I'm thinking about doing the multiplayer game night. I got in touch with Child, and we're going to see about setting something up maybe at the end of this week. And still trying to find some more people for podcast guests. Mike gave me a few suggestions that I've sent emails to, and we're going to hopefully get something going. Now, as for this week, in terms of actual recorded or live streaming, that's going to be a little bit tricky, because again, Monday and Tuesday are going to be E3 days, so it doesn't really make sense to be posting any new videos or discussions then. But this week will be the recorded interview I did with Ebby from Linden Labs. This will be our discussion about Second Life and them having a 14-year anniversary as of this year. I'm thinking about maybe posting one of our video casts as well. Again, it all depends on what happens with E3. Because as we all know, E3 kind of takes over during the time when it comes to game news. So I'm not surprised that there aren't too many people watching this now. Hey Andre, how are you doing? Yeah, I know. 14 years of it being almost like the second in place, or maybe second or third when it comes to MMOs. But in terms of other news that's been happening this week, again, when it comes to E3, it kind of takes over. So one thing that I found was interesting was apparently my state of New Jersey, according to a news piece on Gamasutra, they quietly banned esports betting. That's very interesting, because they were going to do video game gambling about 2 years ago. Now, what's very interesting, and my voice is cutting out, 1 second. There we go. What's very interesting is that I'm going to be putting on another presentation for some of my local libraries in September. So I pitched them the idea of what it means to be a YouTuber. So they all decided to jump on that one. So I'm going to get to talk to people about the lovely world of SEO, making thumbnails, and talking to people like you on a day-to-day basis. But I'm trying to see if there's anything else that came up this week for news, and nothing really is popping out to me. Let's see. The Evolve devs posted a piece about 4 versus 1 gameplay caused more problems. That's great. Which is definitely true when it comes to that kind of asymmetric design. I'm trying to resist the urge to go on a full design talk right now, because that would probably take us beyond the 30-minute time we have before we start. But Games I've been playing this week. Well, you guys know I've been playing Vampire and Cultist Simulator. I also got a press key for a game that I believe it's on Kickstarter right now. Let me see if I can pull that up really fast. Lovely, checking my emails. Here it is. Aratus, Lord of the Dead. I don't know if it's either on Kickstarter right now or if it just finished. But they got in touch with me about looking at the game. It looks very Darkest Dungeon-y, I guess we could say. Speaking of which, we will probably be doing another play of it, or at least part of it, with the Kickstarter. Or I'm sorry, I'm looking at Kickstarter now. The DLC coming out in 9 days. Okay, so here it is. Ooh. So, Aratus Lord of the Dead is on Kickstarter right now. They have just under $8,500 of their $20,000 goal. And they only have 10 days left. Ooh. I'm hoping that they get that last minute Kickstarter boost, but again, it's kind of hard. Especially with how Darkest Dungeon kind of won, like, almost within the first week. But I'm looking at their Kickstarter right now. Very interesting. It really does look like Darkest Dungeon in terms of like that sideways style of combat. I just wonder, there's always a very interesting thing about Kickstarters, about which ones kind of take off and which ones don't. And I think the fact that I've heard nothing about this game in the last who knows how long they've been working on it is probably a bad sign, especially compared to Darkest Dungeon, who spent 6 months getting everything ready and doing all that teaser. Actually, I just want to look this up very quickly. It's time for a little live demonstration about PR work, folks. I just want to see something here. Yeah, that is not a good sign. That when I type in the name of the game on Kickstarter, it is the first thing is a 4-week ago video, and it's not even by the developers. Yeah, that is not a good sign for SEO purposes. Let's see. If I do the full title, yeah, it looks like the very first video. Yeah, not good. I'm seeing videos from like only like a month to 2 months ago. The game Aratus Lord of the Dead. It's an ARPG, looks very Darkest Dungeon-like, that I got a press key to check out, and apparently they have 10 days left in their Kickstarter. So I decided to do a little bit of homework here, and yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of videos for it. At least nothing that's standing out to me in the same way as Darkest Dungeon. It looks like they started to do a very big marketing push, at least people posting about it 2 months ago, 2 to 3. But that's still kind of early for a Kickstarter. Again, with Darkest Dungeon, they were doing teaser art and PR about a year before they actually started the Kickstarter. Yeah, I would like to see. I think I'm going to try, like, whenever we have these Kickstarter games, I'm going to try and download that key for it. I wonder if that's a Steam key or not. I bet it is, and maybe I'll do a first look video this week to help them out. I did like Deep Sky Derelicts. That was the other game that had that Darkest Dungeon isometric feel to it. But it's always hard to know when these games are going to work on a Kickstarter level. Because again, 2012, 2013, when things really began, is a far different period than 2018. Speaking about another game that's on the way out, I know Cook Serve Delicious, I can't believe I forgot that game. Cook Serve Delicious 2 is having its update, the Barista, coming out, I believe, next week. And then we'll post my interview with the developer then. Let's see. Yeah, again, it's always weird when it comes to pledging to these games because you never know how it's going to turn out. So it's gotten a lot of people leery about Kickstarter. June 18th is going to be the Barista update. Wait a minute. If that's June 18th. And then the Darkest Dungeon DLC comes out on June 19th. So we'll get to do some cooking, and then we're going to go kill monsters. That seems like a really great combination there. I've also been putting in more time into Moonlighter. That is the Racketeer-esque roguelike. I like it, but it's not, I think, hitting all those marks. I still need to record my video about how Racketeer kind of captured everybody's interests. Yeah. Board games, like tabletop games, are still really strong on Kickstarter. They seem to always be at least meeting their goal or then some. Ooh. Speaking of which, I hope you like that little sound effect I did. I wonder how Brian's project's doing. Because we did the video for One Last Job. Oh, that reminds me. I need to post his video soon too. Ooh. He's asking, he hasn't even made the 10K yet and there's 20 days left. Ooh. Again, it's always hard, and it's the same thing with YouTube as well, knowing is it the content that's bringing people or is it the personality? Because again, when we talked to Sandy Pearson, who did Cthulhu Wars, that game succeeded and then some. And that's true as well, Gordo. And I think part of it was the branding of Cthulhu Wars, and then part of it, I think, was the reputation that Sandy built up. I think that's another very interesting difference between like the tabletop versus like video game Kickstarters. Because when it comes to tabletop games, you usually expect the company to do multiple Kickstarters, just due to the costs of manufacturing and logistics. But with video games, I think consumers are more leery when it comes to a developer doing a Kickstarter, and then doing a second, and then maybe a third. And then I think another thing that's kind of hurt video game Kickstarters is the enormity of development that goes into them. For instance, Stonehearth has been in Kickstarter for years now. They were estimating the game being done 5 years ago for that game, and they raised just over $750,000. Wow, my mouth is completely messing up there. But you get the picture. And the game is still on early access, and it's got a lot of people annoyed about them. And that's a very weird thing, because the game is still being developed, they're still doing updates. But gamers, I think, don't want to wait 5-6 years for a game, no matter how good it may be. But they just started doing a massive update idea of getting multiple alphas out in a short period of time, which they're going to hopefully transition into beta, I think, by the end of this year. I had a chance to try out the latest build for like 20 minutes. They've completely have redone their UI for building buildings, which is great. But it does remind me a little bit of Clockwork Empires, where they had to keep going back over existing systems. And when you do that, even though you're iterating from one idea to the next, you still have to throw out work done. Yeah. And that while that may work for smaller titles, when we're talking full economic simulators or Dwarf Fortress style games, it's never going to just take 6 months to a year. Unless your game is like 90% of the way done beforehand. What was that game? Oh, here's some interesting news. Let me pull up the right name first. Let's see. Here it is. King of Dragon Pass, one of the more famous PC games that came out during the 90s, is finally getting a sequel from the developers of it. Oh, it's a spiritual sequel, I'm sorry. 6 Ages. And that's got a lot of older fans very excited. It's coming out on iOS on June 21st. I don't know why they're just focusing on iOS, because there's a lot of people who like King of Dragon Pass. But, one second. But that was one like the first really good combinations of strategy meets kind of like a narrative focus, or as the popular term, interactive fiction. And I'm really hoping it does well, especially considering it's going to be released on mobile first. But let me see. We got 10 different windows open here. Actually, I want to check out the comments on Stonehearth. Yeah, even their Kickstarter page is, or their Kickstarter comments are people kind of complaining that it's still in early alpha. And it's just a very weird situation. I know Battle Brawlers developers ran into that issue as well, with it being on for so long that people are complaining that, why isn't the game done, or are they just going to run away with it? And I don't know, it's one of those things that I think you're kind of in a lose-lose situation, because you want to spend as much time on the game, but even if you show work, people still think that you're taking your sweet time getting it out. And another game that's going to be probably running into some problems is We Happy Few, who you can't even buy anymore on Steam, which is not a good sign. But still showing mostly positive for its reviews. That's weird. Let's see. And of course they were banned from Australia. There doesn't seem to be any new updates on We Happy Few. And that's gotten a lot of people very unhappy. Oh, the last one was March of this year. And then that is it. Yep. And when people started to complain about the updates and such. But I'm trying to kind of pad things out before we switch over to Xbox. We'll probably cut this stream in the next 10 minutes. That'll give me time to get everything all fancy, as well as get my E3 related snack. But let's see what other crazy games are coming out on our Weird Games segment. What I think I may just do is make this a Patreon only video, because there's not much we can talk about game related wise. But let's see what is coming out, folks. That's always weird that they're offering keys for Eratus at the same time that it's on Kickstarter. Let's see. There's a game called Supergirl Adventure, which is not a dirty game, surprising, well the name may indicate. But it doesn't look like there's anything else there. Running Through Russia 2 is still coming out, folks. I know you're all waiting for that. Oh, good. I was wondering if they were going to not give me anything juicy this week. Here we go. There's a game called LGBT Battlegrounds, which looks like Minecraft meets PUBG. And that's it. What? Oh my god. I don't think I can talk about the description without getting in trouble, folks. Let's see. Lust for Darkness, which actually looks interesting. Oh, good, but it has BDSM and occult themes to it, so I'm sure that will do very well. Let's see. Catapult is still coming out. I thought that came out already, everybody. Nobody's releasing games over the next 2 days. I wonder why. Dance with Memes. What? play with your favorite Twitch emotes using music videos from internet or your hard drive. I'm sure that will do well too. Heavy sexual themes. Perfect. Wait. Goblin's Fantasy. 2D belt scroll action game. And of course, everybody's in bikinis too. Kiss or Kill VR. I don't know if that's... Tell me that's not real. Asteroid Babe is still coming out. Oh, a game called True Hentai Puzzle. That sounds really great. Valve's going to get rid of it. We'll see. Boys Love. Bus Simulator 2018. There we go, folks. That's going to be our next live stream game right there. What? OIK4 casual puzzle game. Okay then. I just saw something weird, which I know sounds very interesting for this section, and now I can't find it. Was that the game I just saw? Not seeing it yet. I'm on the Keymailer right now. Let's see. Where are you having me look up, El Gordo? Voxel art game. Whole range of cute girl monsters are waiting to punch, kick, and stuff I can't say on stream. What the hell? Am I going to get flagged for this now? Oh, good. That looks very exciting. Let's see. I wonder if I'll get a press key for that one. Nothing else. Wait, what? Just as I was about to say that. There's a game called Ding Dong XL, but it's a puzzle game. Aliens invaded our planet. Nothing is... we may avoid, or this may be very quick. I'm not saying anything too crazy outside of what we've said. A game about meditation. And that same achievement lurker from before. Guess the meme. Okay. And I think that is it. Again, we don't have enough time to go into a crazy discussion about game design, at least for right now, as Microsoft's conference is starting in 10 minutes. So, unless there's anything quick anyone wants to bring up now, I think we'll cut the stream. Oh, I can request a press key for the Darkest Dungeon DLC. I should probably do that right now, don't you think, folks? And hopefully we'll grab it so we can play that. Alright, so I think we'll wrap up our live show quickly here. 10 minutes, I will be back for the Microsoft conference. So I'm going to cut it here, get things set up, grab my snack. So for you folks watching live, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we begin the conference period. So be sure to come back and hang out while we talk and make snide remarks about what Microsoft is offering this week. Or, I'm sorry, this year. I think this video will probably just make this Patreon only, just because nothing really popped up to discuss. But I'll be back hopefully next week with Rob when he's feeling better for another discussion. I don't know if we're going to do a recorded game stream tonight. Probably not with all the conferences going on. But I'll be seeing you guys throughout the day. And I guess that's it. So I'll be back in 9 minutes, and we'll have our E3 talk beginning then. Until then, guys, I'll see you in a few minutes.